Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Cosmic Weather for December 2022. Can you believe I'm in denial, okay, about the fact that it's the last month of the year. I want to let you know that I am going to be doing a 2023 overview. Just general energies for what we have coming. I might break it down by area of life or something like that, just to add a little bit more structure to it because it is such a long period of time. But expect to see that at some point soon. Probably early December is when that'll be coming out. So keep your notifications on. Newsletter friends, you will definitely be notified when that comes out. Instagram friends, you will see it for sure. Okay. Let me do housekeeping first, and then I will dive into the messages for the month. When it comes to housekeeping, first thing I want to let you know that I did change the next round of Apex. I moved it up a month. So instead of starting in May, we're going to be starting in April. And that means extended payment plans are going to stop in mid-January. So if you're needing the payments to be spread out a little bit more, then you're going to want to apply sometime between now and mid-January to lock in and secure your seat. Applications are open until all seats are filled, or March 31st, whichever one comes first. Okay, so just keep that in mind if you've been wanting to do a round of Apex. The next thing that I want to let you know, this is going to come out on the 25th. So the Nidery opens on the 1st. It opens on the 1st of every month unless all seats are filled. But keep in mind, this is the last way to work with me this year. I've received a big influx in one-on-one applications. I don't offer single sessions anymore. That's no longer available. So if you are wanting something low commitment, the Nidery is the way to go. If you want my eyes and ears, if you want my brilliance focused in your direction and on your stuff, then get into the Nidery. That's the way to go. And there's a Voxer only option, and then there's a full mastermind experience where you're able to have weekly calls with me as well. I cannot emphasize how wild and amazing mastermind containers are. All of my clients are thriving. Period. All of them are doing fantastic. It's literally a dream come true. Masterminds are my favorite spaces. And keep in mind, the Nidery is going to be like home base when it comes to, I don't think I've ever talked about this on the podcast, or I haven't yet. The Nidery is going to be like the consistent mastermind that I have going. It can be as minimal as 1 month commitment, or you can just have an ongoing, indefinite, as long as you want, stay as long as you want kind of experience. So that is available, but that's going to be, if you want to work with me, that's where I'm going to direct you. That's the best way to do it. There are limited seats, and then there's VIP seats if you do want Voxer and calls every single week. That's going to be available as well. VIP seats are 3 months minimum, so just keep that in mind. There's another piece. What was it? Any other masterminds that I run, I just want you to know they're going to be short term. They're going to be more intensive or specific. So the Nidery is super general. Anything that you want to work on with me, bring it to the Nidery. The Nidery is always open. So that's the vibe. It's a general mastermind, my eyes and ears on your stuff, my guidance in whatever you want guidance around, because we all know that I would die if I had to niche down. Okay? So we work on everything. Anything that you want me to advise you on, I'm happy to do so. Other masterminds are going to be niched down. They're going to be like specific to a topic, and we just work on that intensively for a couple of months maximum. They're going to be smaller, shorter, containers, and they're going to be more exclusive and at a higher price. The Nitery is way more flexible, way more fluid, way more ongoing, way more general. So that's going to be the difference from here on out. And the other thing that I want to remind you of is doors open on the 1st. So as soon as you're in, as soon as you secure your spot, you'll be let in on the 1st of the upcoming month. So if you want to get in now, if you want me to support you in December, if you want to get ready for some 2023 stuff, I'm really, really, really excited for the mastermind in December, because we get to prepare for 2023, because this is all going to be vision casting. It's going to be intention setting. It's going to be, really focusing on what do you want to move into 2023 with. And so if you want to do that with me, let's do it. Get in the Nitery, go apply. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm very excited for the month ahead. And that's all the housekeeping for now. Yeah. Okay, so let me shift gears. Let me tune in for a second to December. I have not prepared for this at all, just so you know. This is totally off the cuff. The first thing that's coming through for a lot of you is going to be the shift in vision. So the shift in lens that you have, let me back up for a moment. This time of year, because of the new year where the calendar resets, it puts us in this energy of there's a reset button happening. There's an argument to be made about why this isn't really a good time for a reset button if we're looking at the rhythm of nature and the rhythm of the earth. But whatever, it's a reset button regardless. But how I like to think about this is it's less of a physical body reset. A physical body reset is going to come around springtime. The equinoxes are where I experience more of the physical shift. So as things are dying, as things are cooling down, that's where your body feels it really intensely. And then as things start to warm up again and you're getting more sunlight, that's also where there's this rebirth happening. So the seasonal rhythms have more of an effect on the physical body. The new year, I find, has more of an effect on priorities and the mental body. Okay? So when you're thinking about what is my vision for 2023, or what do I want, or what am I focused on, or what are my priorities, go into this year with a broader vision. Some of you will thrive with specifics. If you know that you thrive with specifics, awesome, do it. Don't let me steer you away from that. That's not the point of this. The point is you want to focus on what is the broadest vision that I can cast for 2023 that can still encapsulate the full human experience. I say this a lot these days, because you want to make sure that you are not starting off the year aiming at things that your human experience may steer you away from, right? So if you're focusing broad enough, because a year is a long time, a lot can happen in a year, a lot can change in a year. And so you just want to make sure that your full experience can be held within that. So the other piece coming through is many of you, as you start reflecting on what has happened in 2022, beware of being really critical of yourself and really punishing with yourself. Be careful. There is a tendency to look back and be displeased with how things unfolded. When you're doing this audit, really consider, well, what did you intend last year? What were you focused on? Where were you last December? What was happening? And you may find that it either had something, there was an issue, there was a little friction or disturbance around the vision piece. Because if the vision was too narrow, if it was too limited, constricting, or specific, then it might give you the illusion, or it might give you the impression that you were unsuccessful this year. And so as you're going into this reflective month, look at things through a loving lens and look at it through an affirmative lens. So those are the two pieces that really want to be emphasized in this moment. The more you can do that, the more you will be able to celebrate things no matter how small. I got a really interesting comment from one of my clients recently. She said, "You're so good at celebrating everything." And I didn't even realize that that was true about me, but I totally understand what she's saying because I do let small stuff count. Let it count. Let the micro wins count for something. And so instead of constantly aiming at big things, it's like you want to understand that the micro wins, the micro experiences, all of those itty bitty teeny weeny instances are many grains of sand in a heap. And you want to get into the habit of paying attention to the many grains of sand that are making up the heap. The small improvements, the small adjustments, the small changes are what add up. You know, it's kind of like that book, The Compound Effect. It's like the itty bitty teeny weeny changes that you're making. When you do that enough over time, it really adds up into something significant. So this month is really wanting to put your attention on the little things, the micro wins, the small changes, the small improvements, the whatever you may be prone to discredit. December is wanting to amplify for you. Be gentle in your reflections. Amplify the good. Don't amplify the I should have done that better. Okay, we don't need more of that because it creates a repellent in your system. Really think about this. When you are taking a punishing tone with yourself, how motivated does that make you? Does it inspire you to action? Do you feel like, oh, I feel so great, now I want to conquer the world? Or do you want to crawl in a hole and die? Like, really consider that. So take reflection either with an affirmative tone or a light heart. Those are the two things that you want to do. I know a lot of people are going to be doing their year in review. They're going to be getting out that wheel of life. They're going to be doing all that stuff as we head into the new year. And so you just want to make sure that you have the right lens. And the other piece that wants to come through is make sure you are in the right mood before you go into any type of year in review activities, before you want to do any New Year's stuff. Take it easy, right? Be cautious, be aware, really dial in your mood and make sure that you're in the right mood for those types of things. That way you don't have like a critical parent in your head the entire time. So just check your state and then go into those activities. Let me tune into the next piece. There's more. Interesting. So there's another group. I don't think this is going to be all of you. Some of you really do want to focus on that. Keep it Keep it light. There's something about reducing criticism that will actually get you to come out of your shell. So if you've taken an internal tone that has made you clam up or freeze or just cause you to shift into a paralysis that's so bad nothing is getting done, you need to take more of a gentle approach. For others of you, there's been a severe underestimation of what you're capable of. Okay, so you're going to want to identify, where am I landing with this? Because some of you, I feel like I'm in this category actually. It's like you could have gone bigger. You could have done more. Not done from an action standpoint, but it's like you actually want to put on the bigger pair of shoes because you're going to grow into them. So you may have been aiming a little bit lower because you know you can hit the bar, when really what you want to do is go bigger. You've got to have the right inner dialogue in order to do this. You want to go bigger so that you go farther, right? Just aim higher, go bigger, commit to the inevitability of your success when you aim higher. If you know that what you want is yours, if you know that it is absolutely possible that the universe can deliver that to you, if you know that nothing is too big for God to accommodate, why not go there? Why not ask for that? Why not focus on that? Why not double down? Many of you are going to need to double down on your vision. This is going to be a time when you're just exercising the muscle of deep trust, big faith, next level knowing, next level conviction within yourself. Treat things that you want as being absolute. Get more convicted about where you're aiming and what you want and where you're going, and just commit to it. So December is going to give you an opportunity to commit to the desire and just hold fast to that. Don't entertain anything else. Just focus, look at what you want, commit to what you want, and beat it to death. Basically, do not take your foot off the gas pedal when it comes to the energetic piece. Make sure that you are making corrections promptly. When you notice thought forms that are starting to bubble up that are uncomfortable, you need to address them, reframe them, work them out immediately. If you took money magic, you know how to do mental mold. How many of you are not doing that practice? I know a lot of you are in money magic who are listening to this. How long ago did you fall off mental mold, and so now that mental mold is back? Right? So get back to it. Get on it. There's this element of, you know what to do. You do know what to do. You do know how to be. You do know what practices you need to bust out right now. You know better. That's the energy. There's a very strong Saturn influence. It's this Saturn energy coming through, which is you know better, so fucking do it. And that's just where you want to go. Do not let yourself wiggle out of things and make excuses. And there's a difference between going against the flow of energy. That's not what I'm talking about. I want to be really, really clear. This is not about forcing yourself into action. This is about not being overly tolerant of things that feel bad, about thought forms that feel crappy, telling stories that are not good for you, telling stories and repeating things to yourself that are contradictions to where you are actually focusing. This is an internal energy game. The action is whipped cream and a cherry. The inner world is the sundae. And so you need to implement what you know further. There's a deeper layer to this. Some of you are somewhat addicted to education. Okay, so it's time to put down the personal development books and start implementing. How many of you are consuming and not implementing? How many of you are just like, I'm going to consume? This is one of the things that I talk about in Apex, or it's one of the things that has come up. I tell people they need to fast from personal development because that is something that can get out of hand. That is something that you can start treating yourself like a fixer-upper project, but never actually do the refinement work, never letting the rubber meet the road. It's time to let the rubber meet the road in December. It's time to, okay, focus. Okay, you have all the information. You have all the tools. You've got it. Many of you, I would say this is going to be a great month to do something that is really good for you, but is challenging. So one of the ways that I personally like to navigate the new year, and I think I talked about this in the 4th quarter episode of my podcast, start before the new year and it will make it easier. Do not put all of the pressure on January 1st. Because then it's like the stakes become really high when you're hinging everything on a date. So see what happens when you start earlier, when you start in December, when you do something now. Life is happening now. It's all happening now. Your frequency is now. What you are emitting and what will manifest later is happening now. So what are you doing now? What are you thinking now? What are you telling yourself now? And if you treat life like, I'm waiting for the next anniversary, I'm waiting for Monday, I'm waiting for January 1st, I'm waiting for this thing, you are lying to yourself and you are kicking the can down the road. Okay, I'll add the caveat, of course, there are some things where you might need to prepare for something, right? So dates can be helpful containers, but I want to make sure that I'm highlighting to those of you who are in the habit of kicking the can down the road, beware if you are one of those people. If you are in a perpetual, I'm going to start Monday, start what? That's usually rooted in action-based things. And so what I want you to know is the inner work needs to start now. Changes in your mind, in the thought forms, in the emotional state, don't wait for that. No. Fine. If you want to start something that's action-based and you need to prepare for that, that makes sense. But inner world informs the outer world. We all know I'm basically 100% energetics. I'm so energetically based in terms of my personal work that I believe I could sit on my hands and the universe would still deliver, because I know deeply that the inner work, the inner world is what's driving and informing everything else. That's why you don't want to wait for Monday. Don't wait for January 1st to start doing these things. Careful with numbing behaviors, okay? In December, I'm shifting gears a little bit. If you're around family, if you're in a difficult situation, right? All of those things, just be conscientious of it. right? I think every human numbs, right? I did a podcast on that too, where it's like the numbing activities have a function, but also understand that doing things that you desire when it's hardest, it can be of tremendous value. So don't underestimate that, okay? It's like you've got an opportunity. Every moment is an opportunity. Really get clear in the now. The emotional work can start now because it doesn't require any heavy lifting. It doesn't require anything to be done in the physical landscape. It doesn't require anything to be moved around. If you're leaning into the feelings of I want to numb, ask yourself what wants to move through the body. That's a good question to prompt yourself with. So just let yourself bust out all the tools. Let yourself pay close attention to the mind. Clean up what you can, right? Redirect what you can. Do the emotional work. Don't delay emotional work. Don't do it. Bad move. So just make sure that you're staying on top of it, because remember, the now keeps moving, and every now moment is technically a manifestation. So if you don't move the needle now, things are going to perpetuate. So if your emotional state is complacent, if your thoughts are complacent, if things within you are complacent, things outside of you are not going to transform at the rate that you want them to. Everyone wants to go fast. Well, here's your answer. You want to go fast? Okay. You totally can, but it's an inner game. It's not about pounding the pavement. If you want to go fast, the state must match it now, period. And the beauty of it is that it does not require anything outside of you. That's the best part, is that you can absolutely go fast, but you're not going to go fast when you're saying, I'll do it later. Because here's the other piece about action or doing that confuses people is practical action and emotional and energetic action are different. So doing things to support your emotional body or shift the energetics around something, there can be processes that help that, right? Mental mold is one of them. For those of you who are in money magic, right? That is something that you are technically doing. Or meditation, you're doing something. If you're doing breath work, you're doing something. But the purpose is the internal shift that is made, not the emails that are sent and the applications that are sent out and all of that stuff. That is not the point. So yes, things are still being done, but it's the effectiveness that you can have and the impact that you can have on your life will be more substantial, and it's going to be more significant when you are focusing on the root cause. The root cause is the thought forms. The root cause is the belief systems. The root cause is the emotions. So that is what you want to target in December. Kicking the can down the road and numbing things out is not going to serve you in December, but it's also one of those times of year where a lot of people are really prone to doing that. So have awareness of both. Understand emotional work is free. It's awesome. So let yourself do what you know to do. Let me tune in and see what else. People are data. This has been coming up a lot, and it's coming up now. So I'll just say this. In order to fully hold all of your power and exercise all of your power over your creations and over your relationships, I am of the mindset and belief that relationships are creations just like anything else. When you start looking at other people as being data and a reflection of what you have going on, they get much easier to navigate. So let yourself go into December and just, experiment. Just see how that works. Try that on. Let yourself practice people are data, because if you're doing that, it's going to be way more empowering, for one. And second of all, it will shift you out of any victim energy fast. Really, 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 really fast. Because if your belief system is something to the effect of, people are doing this to me, this always happens to me, people are da da da, my family is da da da, and they might be all of those things. But if you can start to play with this person, even presenting this aspect to me, is data. It's data for me to use to rework some things internally. You'll shift it into empowerment. So try it out. It's something that I think a lot of you will be, there are subtle victim programs that kind of run in the background, and it's just not a pleasant way to live. Here's one other piece about victim energy that gets people really confused. I've heard people say things like there's no such thing as victims and whatever. There's weird distorted stuff that shows up. I promise you, yes, there's absolutely victim experiences are deeply rooted in the human experience. And they are also something that can be, they can wither away, or they can be amplified. So at a certain point, when you get to the stance of, this is optional, it's a choice that I can make, it's something I can entertain or not, it's something I can lean into or not, it's something I can navigate in a different way, it's something that I then have choices around, you'll transmute that and start shifting into empowerment. So my goal is not to make you think that victims aren't real. Of course it is. If it's a thought form that ever existed in the human mind, then it's a potential that exists on Earth. Of course, of course, of course. It's not reasonable to say it's not a thing or it doesn't exist. It does, but it's just about how are you navigating it? What are you doing with it that matters more? So let yourself practice and start thinking in more empowered terms around your relationships, and you'll see them shift. That way your emotional state is not going to be codependent based on a bunch of crap that you have going on in relationships. It's not a fun way to live. My goal is for you to live a pleasurable life, a fun, enjoyable, empowering life. That's my whole MO here. That's what I'm doing here. And so this is just one of the ways that can kind of open up another avenue for you. Also, shameless plug, if that is something that you're really interested in mastering and going deep on, get in Dom. Because I teach that super in depth. So that's the place to do it. That's the place to learn. One of my most popular classes for a reason. Okay. What else? I want to know more about December. What else? What is going to happen in December? Give me some breadcrumbs. Give me some information. I want to know. Make a lot of space to be pleasantly surprised. December is kind of like a treasure hunt. There's many little things that will be available for you, but you have to be in a state where you can see them, where you can receive them, where you're prepared for them. So it's this energy of every day to the best of your ability. Start every day with the expectation that I am going to see or I'm going to experience good things, magic, miracles, whatever language, whatever desires you have. Just let yourself be prepared for them. Get into the habit of preparing yourself for good news. What a radical thought. Why not prepare for good news rather than bad news? Right? So just let yourself prepare for it. Let yourself expect it. Let yourself anticipate. And I would say, even in the face of something that does not feel good, that is not pleasant or pleasurable or fun or desired, still practice. Because the thing is, you've got to give the universe an opportunity to bring it to you, so you can't get distracted. And that's why you want to let things solidify, hold your ground, hold your desires, hold your focus, hold your beliefs. Your beliefs have to be so solid that it does not matter what you're seeing, so that the universe can actually catch up and meet you. Or let me say that better. So that 3D can meet you. The universe has already met you. God has already met you. Your soul already knows what's up. That's not in question. But I know you want the world around you to transform and match you. But your belief systems have got to be rock solid. They have to be able to override anything that you're seeing in front of your face. Otherwise, it won't shift. Because as soon as you revert back to whatever story, pick a story of something you don't want, or this is just how it is, or this is what I'm seeing, all of that noise, then your belief system has been compromised, because now you're entertaining other thoughts. And so now you are slowing down the process. And so I would say December is, or has the potential to go fast. The defining factor in all of this is going to be, where's your focus? What are you thinking? What are you feeling? What's dominant in your energetic system? What are you emitting primarily? Those are the questions that you want to ask yourself. And this is why it's like, stay on top of your tools. And one of those tools might be, speak to yourself in a loving way. What is the most encouraging and loving tone you can talk to yourself with? And do that, and do it a lot. That is a tool. Don't underestimate it. Okay? Is there anything else? I'm getting that's all for now. There will be more for the 2023 reading, but that's solid for December. That's a lot to work with in December. I know a lot of you are going to be doing all those New Year processes. You're going to be preparing. You're going to be hopefully taking good care of yourself, regardless of what you have going on with family. So I hope you have a wonderful December, everyone. Don't forget, if you want to work with me, if you want support, if you want to get ready for 2023 with me, get into the Nightery. So again, the doors will officially open. We'll start on December 1st, but you have to get in by December 1st. Otherwise, you will have to wait until 2023 to get in. All right, so that is all for now. All of the links, everything I referenced will be in the description box or the show notes if you're curious, if you're wondering. And I love you all so much. I will see you in the next one. Have a good time. Bye.